The call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
What's going on, everybody? Curtis Wilkerson here with Inside Arkansas on the Pod at the Palace, coming back to you, as always, in the aftermath. Post-game report card, player grades. Following Arkansas 65-62 loss to Oklahoma in Bud Walton Arena. Heartbreaking, maybe. I think deflating is probably the best way for me to describe it. This was, by every sense of the word, and I know it's an overused term, but this absolutely was a must-win game for Arkansas, and they didn't get it. Very, very difficult to have any real, meaningful conversations about the bubble or postseason or anything like that. Arkansas is just in such a deep hole now. 12-8 overall, 1-6 in the SEC. Not much meat on the bone there in the resume. It's going to take something just unprecedented in terms of a turnaround right now. So we'll have plenty of time in the upcoming days to talk about what the plan is here moving forward before we obviously get down to Lexington and talk about that Kentucky game. But we're going to close the book on this Oklahoma game here first. Deflating for the Razorbacks. We'll start with the offense and defense grades. Before we do, though, in the pregame that I recorded from a hotel in Arkadelphia, I just thought about doing some goal setting for Arkansas. Like, how can you make some tangible improvements, some steps forward from maybe where you were at in that Georgia game, which is this new look without Boogie Fland. I said maybe you get that 30% from the field up to 40%. Well, Arkansas goes 37% even in this game. I said maybe you get the 13% from three and three makes up to double it just to six makes. Get to 30% from three. Okay, they did that. 9 threes, 33%. Can you get to the free throw line 35 times? That's asking a little bit too much, like you did against Georgia. Can you get there over 25 times? Not so much, only 16 in this game. Then we had 6 assists against Georgia. I thought, well, maybe you could get to 10, just get up to double digits. They did get to 10, and they only turned it over 9 times. So they did make some improvements from where they were at in that game against an Oklahoma team that I still don't think they're going to make the NCAA tournament. They're going to be close. They're going to be right there in the mix. But I do think maybe they're a little bit better than Georgia was, or maybe a little bit better than I gave them credit for. Still, that is absolutely not a game that you can lose at Bud Walton Arena if you're serious about being a good basketball team. They were 1-4 in the SEC coming into it. So let's start with the offense. I thought John Calipari actually coached a good game offensively. He did. They ran some different things. I noticed some different sets. Other than what we've seen, they ran a different baseline out of bounds play, which I couldn't believe because we've been begging for that for the longest now. That was good to see. I thought that they did a good job of realizing that, kind of running some of that offense through Big Z as part of the 2-man game in the second half. That was the pathway for Arkansas, and I thought it looked pretty good. So from that standpoint, I was fairly pleased. Now we can talk about down the stretch. It's a 1-point game that you're down with just over a minute left. You have a possession there where you lack some awareness, and Z's got the ball with less than 5 on the shot clock. He pump fakes a 3, gets rid of it late. Nelly has to take a 30-footer off balance. You just have to get a better shot than that. That's awareness. You had the set play that you called up with about, 28 seconds left. It got busted up by Oklahoma defensively, bumping some cutters. Good job by not forcing anything. When nothing was there, called a timeout, had the sideline inbounds. That last play, listen, you got it to Z. He turned the corner. Could he got to the rim? Maybe. Probably. I don't know. Did Nelly Davis have a step on his man on the backdoor cut? Yeah, he did. There's 2 things with that, though. With those guys being on the same side of the floor and that close to each other, that's a tough angle to make that pass, for 1. 2, I thought Nelly got held on the back cut. Didn't get the whistle. That's not going to happen sometimes in a physical game. He had a choice to make to try to wiggle his way out of there and find a pass. That's probably what he should have done in hindsight. Instead, he tried to draw the contact. Didn't get it. Arkansas gets nothing out of it. So didn't execute the way they needed to down the stretch. But there were some promising things at the end of the day. A lot of it comes to me for what it has been all year. It's shot making. I like the 9 threes. That's encouraging, but 37% from the field, it's going to be tough to beat teams when you can only do it. Scoring 62 points, that's kind of going to have to be the recipe for Arkansas. Like we said, like they're going to have to win some of these games in the 60s, probably. But man, you just like to see him get a little bit more efficient there. It's crazy that they have these struggles offensively, but they're not turning it over like crazy. Like I thought they were moving well. I thought the ball was moving well. Even when they got careless, they eliminated a lot of some of the silly stuff we were seeing earlier in the year. Only 9 turnovers in this game. That's winning basketball. But you got to be able to put it in the hole a little bit more, especially against an Oklahoma team who is physical and they're good offensively, but they were like 80th in the country or something defensive efficiency. You got to be able to get a little bit more going against those guys, and Arkansas wasn't able to do it. I don't know, man. C- maybe. I think is where I go. C, maybe C. Man, boy, that doesn't just feel like an opportunity missed. Everything I say, I'm just like, I can't believe that they lost this game. Maybe I should believe that because they've lost so many just like it. But you thought maybe you could just get a sliver of momentum, and they weren't able to do it. Defensively, I thought they really tightened up and did some good things in the second half. First half, Oklahoma was getting butt naked from 3, and it was just like the Bryson Goodine kid. You thought he was Trey Young all of a sudden, throwing it back. Jeremiah Fears looked like Buddy Hield out there. Jalen Moore. Oh, is that him or is that Blake? Blake freaking Griffin. It's like all the ghost of Oklahoma past just showed up in Bud Walton Arena. But they tightened up. They tightened up down the stretch in the first half. It got them back in the game, and they were good in the second half. Held Oklahoma for about 6 minutes without a field goal, and you get a 6-point lead, but then self-inflicted wounds wind up costing you that lead and the momentum. Back-to-back fouls of 3-point shooters. You just can't do it. You just can't do it. Big Z on one of them, and he's been pretty good about contesting threes out there. But gets into the shooting space, knocks the guy over. Northweather knocks down all 3 of them. Then you have Nelly Davis and Fears, and I get it. He's an NBA player, but that was well beyond an NBA 3. Contest it, but why even get out there that deep in that range? He's shooting like 26% from 3 all year. If he makes that one, that's one where you just kind of tip your hat and say, hey, you know what? Nice job, man. But that's the shot you want him to take. You foul him, makes his 3 free throws. They go on a 6-0 run and erase your lead without making a shot from the field. And then the next bucket was a goaltend. It's like it counts as a field goal, but like he didn't make it. And so you give them 8 points without them actually earning and making a damn basket. That's really irritating on a night where otherwise they did good things defensively. Oklahoma was so hot in the first half from 3, and they were 0-5 in the second half. They didn't get any. And they only shot 40% from the field in the second half of this game. I thought Jalen Moore got the best of his matchup, proved to be a tough one for Arkansas there. I didn't hate a lot of what they did defensively, but when you gave them the points that erased your lead and your momentum, frankly, that's on you. So I got to knock them for that. I'll go C+ because you lost. I think they probably played B-level defense for their standards, but that's a killer there. We'll get into the player grades in just a sec, but before we do, as always, just want to remind you guys that our post-game report cards are brought to you by Bryant Technologies. We certainly appreciate them. Bryant Technologies is dedicated to delivering high-quality network infrastructure and security camera solutions. They take pride in their exceptional workmanship and commitment to keeping your business operations seamlessly connected and secure. Whether it's structured cabling, security camera installation, digital signage, or TV mounting, Bryant Technologies has you covered. They service the entire state of Arkansas as well as all of Arkansas's bordering states. That includes Oklahoma, you Sooners out there. Have Bryant Technologies help you with all your network and security needs. Give them a call, 870-883-0330, or check out their website, www.bryantstechnologies.com. Bryant's, make sure you get that S in there, .com. It's Bryant Technologies, quality work guaranteed. Okay, let's run through these player grades, man. No MVP in this one. Obviously, you know how we roll. You get an MVP if you win, so we'll just start at the top of the box score and work our way down. John L. Davis, what a polarizing figure. Every time that dude touches the ball, there's a groan in the crowd. It reminds me so much of Chris Likes. It's uncanny. I hate it. It drives me nuts. I just don't think that's a way to get a guy who's been on the schneid, off the schneid, in terms of giving him a little bit of confidence. He needs that support, needs that love. but I also get it that he hasn't played well. He hasn't been the player that people expected, and there's a lot of frustration there. So I either blame everybody or don't blame anybody. I just don't like it, and I wish it could be different, but it's not. He scored a season high 18 points in this game, but remember when we said his production is going to go up, but it might be Wade Taylor-like where it's not very efficient? Well, there you go. 5 of 16 from the field. That's better than 3 of 14 or whatever he was the other day. 3 of 11 from 3. That's better than 1 of 10 he was the other day. So I don't know, baby steps. Man, he had some open looks. Felt like he could have had 30 if he just made the wide open ones. But at any rate, he did have 18, 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Listen, I thought he did some good things offensively. We saw him navigate a ball screen, get downhill, and finish a layup. Might be the first time we've seen that all year. Got to the free throw line, connected on some big ones for Arkansas, like tied and breaking a tie at times there. Hit a big three that either tied it late or gave Arkansas the lead, but it was a huge three that he made in a little two-man game on a rescreen there with Big Z. So did make some big shots. You wish he would have made more of them. 3 rebounds. He had the one turnover there late that was a sloppy one. Can't have that in that situation. It was his only turnover in the game. He was tremendous defensively. He really was. Worked his ass off. Was fighting through screens, running through screens, had a bunch of deflections, and he had 4 steals in the game. So I am fully on board with the people that are like, man, that field goal percentage, like he's got to make some shots. He's got to. I get it, 100%. But he did a lot of things really well for Arkansas in this game. I'm going to give him a B minus, because I get it. Like, you got to be more efficient. Arkansas has to have that. He's kind of the key to unlocking them touching 70 again the rest of the season, probably. But a lot of people are piling on him in our post game, and I know I've been, labeled a Nelly defender or whatever, but I really didn't think he was that bad outside of, had he hit 2 more shots in this game, people would have been looking at it going, wow, he really, really played well. It was a step forward from where he was against Georgia, and he's just got to build on it from here. He has no choice. Dude, Theo did not think he played particularly well in this basketball game. Finished with 10 points. He only took 4 shots. He's your leading scorer. Got to have more than 4 shots in a game. 1 of 2 from 3. He did knock one of those down. 5 of 6 from the free throw line. 5 rebounds. A couple turnovers in this game. They just clogged the lane on Theo in this one. That's why he took a couple 3-point jumpers, but he just wasn't able to get in there and get to the rim, and he wasn't able to get loose in transition as much as he normally does. And that's kind of the key to containing Theo. And I thought that Oklahoma did a really good job from that standpoint on him. Like, he was able in the second half to kind of make the most of his opportunities there. They also kept him, I'm pretty sure, let me look at this so I'm not talking out of the side of my neck. They kept him off the offensive glass. He only had 1 offensive rebound in this game, which is another way that he usually gets a lot of his points there. So, listen, he had a couple steals. I did not think this was Theo's best game defensively. In fact, I thought Jalen Moore was really, really taking it to him several times in ISO situations. And, it's like Arkansas's quote unquote best player statistically versus Oklahoma's, and the Oklahoma guy won that matchup on your home floor. So that's a tough one. C minus maybe for Theo. Boy, he plays hard, doesn't he? Jonas A F again. He's hurt. I just know that he is because I watched him in warmups, because I was wondering what's going on. We've seen him in some of these games. It feels like he's barely getting off the floor, not moving maybe as well as he was a few weeks ago. Either he was being lazy in warmups or he's still injured, because like the GAs are down there, the post players are working, coming off screens, post ups, whatever, getting hit with the pads and everything. It's like, hey, go up there and dunk it, pop the rim, like you're getting ready to play, get the juices flowing, break a sweat. And he's just casually just kind of laying it up, not even getting above the backboard. Is kind of going through the motions. Either he's hurt or lazy, and he just didn't look like he was very explosive to me. I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just letting y'all know I was there and I watched him closely, because I know everybody's been wondering about that. Either way, starter for you for whatever reason still. If they don't go to Big Z in the starting lineup for Kentucky, I just don't know what the heck is going on. But once again, scoreless, you can't have it. You just can't have it. Shotless. Are you serious? Oklahoma's got the softest interior in the damn SEC. And you've got an all SEC big man, and he's not getting the ball and attempting to score down there. I just don't understand. 1 rebound. What was going on? It's unreal. And then he plays 9 minutes, gets benched again. Big Z starts for him in the second half, and he didn't even play in the second half. And part of that was because Big Z played incredibly well, and we'll talk about him in a minute. But you have 8 guys who can play on this team, and you have the one guy who's done this at a high level in the SEC 4 years. And he's almost unplayable now. 9 minutes. He played the fewest minutes on the team. And so now you say you're playing an 8-man rotation. Are you? Or are you playing a 7-man rotation or 6.5? They have to get more from him. I don't know what's going on there. People say like, oh, he doesn't care. He doesn't even want to be here or whatever. Well, I don't buy that because I watched the entire second half and he was active on the bench. I mean, clap, clap, bravo. Here's your cookie for being a good teammate or whatever. But he was up, he was clapping, he was cheering, he was engaged. Like when a timeout was called, he was the guy out there on the floor, chest bumping everybody. All that stuff was there. The body language was good. So and then Cal said afterwards that it wasn't an injury. He just wanted a shot blocker in there. Jonas has been one of the best shot blockers in the country, but he's not now. So what's going on? I know it's frustrating to people, and I'm sure it's frustrating to him. More than anything, it's just baffling. I just don't understand it. I know I'm getting fired up. It's because I'm just confused. I don't get it. And it's a big part of the reason why Arkansas is where it is at this point in the season, which is going nowhere fast. Frustrating deal. I hope he gets it going. I really do. Like Jonas, was so excited about him this season. And boy, nobody would expect him going just damn near having a Tony Snell stat line against Oklahoma. It's unbelievable. Carter Knox, man, he got off to a heck of a start. Hit a couple threes early. I turned and gave the shh to Oklahoma's bench. Porter Moser was heated. Oh, he was mad. He didn't like that one bit. But man, he got off to such a good start. Got downhill, drove middle, finished one at the rim. He looked really, really good in the first half. And then that was it. Didn't see much out of him in the second half of this basketball game. They kind of cut off his water a little bit. He finished with 8 points, 3 of 7 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. Had 4 rebounds, which is a good number for him. I thought he really competed well defensively. He's made some big time strides on the defensive end of the floor in the last week or two. So that's promising. You know, he's been a guy who, like Arkansas, like we said with these freshmen, man, they gotta grow up and show up in these games now. And he's done that. Now he's got to put it together for 40 minutes because, you know, he was really good in the second half against Georgia after no show in the first. Was really good in the first half against Oklahoma, not so much in the second. Still overall, I thought he was a plus for Arkansas. They sure could have used him though in the second half of this game. I'm gonna go C plus, I think, for my man Carter there. DJ Wagner, B minus B. Actually, I thought DJ was pretty good. He was almost 50% from the field. Was just way better about getting downhill and finding his spots. And man, when he's able to get middle off of one of those ball screens and turn the corner, he's a bucket in there. So that was good to see. He knocked down a 3. It was a big one, like a late kind of a busted play, and it gets kicked back out to him at the top of the key, and he knocks one down. Was a really big 3. Thought he was pretty good defensively, better than he has been in maybe some other games. But yeah, I mean, 4 rebounds. He had 5 assists. I really I'm glad I got him up in that B range. 5 assists is good. He's your point guard. So dishing a little bit, right? Getting the other guys going, facilitating. So embracing that a little bit more. A couple turnovers there, but I think you can live with 5 assists to 2 turnovers from DJ. I can handle that. I thought he was pretty solid. Tre Brazil, it just continues to be a mystery why he doesn't play more. He wasn't in foul trouble in this game. He only played 17 minutes though. And it was on a night where Theo didn't play well. So maybe I'd have thought he'd have more minutes. But whatever. He's just I just never thought that he would be a beyond the box score guy. Trevin, he was actually usually the opposite of that, where he would get stats and sometimes you'd look at it and be like, yeah, it's hollow though. And now he's not really getting the stats. You know, it's like, here's a guy who had 3 points and 2 rebounds and took 2 shots in this game. And I'm thinking, yeah, man, he's probably in that B range too. Maybe it's great. I just think his effort and his energy that he's playing with right now is so impactful. I can't remember the last time that I saw a stretch where I thought Tre Brazil wasn't playing hard or that he wasn't making a positive impact on a game or that he was lost or that his body language sucked. And these are all things we talked about all the time last year. You still need to get more out of him. I thought that he was passing up some good looks from three. Buddy, take them. Take them if you got them. We know you can shoot them. I'll go B- for him. Although I do think with this new look roster with Boogie out, they just need more from him statistically too. Wish he was playing more minutes. Billy, again, another guy where are you really playing with an 8-man rotation or not? Because he only plays 10 minutes in this game. And I'm kind of surprised he didn't play more. In fact, I wish maybe he would have played a little bit more in hindsight. I think what's holding him back is he's just, the game is still so fast for him offensively when he's got the ball in his hands. Only played 10 minutes. He was 0 of 3 from the field, had a turnover. Defensively, he's so active and can be disruptive in there. On the other end, though, he's just sped up, did a pretty good job in his point guard minutes in the half court of just, not over dribbling, move the ball, move your body. I thought he did a good job with that. But then you have the things where he's driving into traffic. Boy, could you kick it out and get an open look? Could you lob it up to your 7'2" post player? Nah, instead you're gonna try to finish over 3 or 4 guys. Just little decision making things like that. It's freshman stuff, right? You get in transition, you got a 2-on-1, and instead of lobbing it up to your 7'2" guy who's wide open, you try to take it yourself. It gets blocked off the backboard. Then when you do look for him in a pick and roll, again, 7'2", like throw it up, and then you try to bounce pass it. You try to thread the needle, and then it's a kickball. You don't get anything out of it. It's just little things like that. But he's also playing out of position. I get it. Like they got to have a backup point guard or whatever. I just think when he was at his best, and he's played against some good teams well. Think about Illinois. Think about Baylor early in the season. What was he doing? He was off the ball. And he was a basket cutter, and he was crashing the offensive rebounds, doing the dirty work. And the only thing we were really complaining about was, why are you taking these one dribble pull-ups from 17 feet, man? And now we're not getting any of that from him because he's on the ball more. And maybe that's exacerbating some of the things offensively that he's got to continue to work on. He's going to be a really, really good college player. He really is. All these minutes are so valuable for him. I think the reason, despite his contagious energy out there, that he's not playing more, I think it's just because of the offensive limitations that he has in his game right now. But Arkansas does need more they need more out of everybody, and he's one of them. The only other guy besides Adu who went scoreless in this game, didn't get on the glass, didn't get an assist, so C-, but I'm still encouraged about the long term there with Billy for sure. Big Z, I thought he was really good. B+ for Big Z. 10 points, 6 rebounds, 27 minutes. He was better than Jonas A and deserved to play more minutes than he did, probably. Had the big stretch that kind of brought Arkansas back into it. They're down 13 in the first half. They started clawing back. He got beat on the play, which, by the way, that's another thing with Jonas. Like, how many times did Godwin just burn him on a back door or slip behind him or beat him on a pick and roll? It was just like awareness and efforts. I don't know. It was weird. Anyway, but Avicic, like, he got burned on one of those and he recovered and blocked the dunk attempt. And then he sprints down the floor, gets rewarded in transition with a trail 3. That was a huge swing moment. He had a post score, which is good to see. He hit another 3 in a key moment there for Arkansas. Like, again, you'd like him to get rid of the ball a little bit quicker, or not shot fake that one and that late possession there, an awareness thing. But also, how often does your center have the ball that late in the shot clock at that stage of a game? He turned the corner on that very last play. Could he have got to the rim and finished? Probably. But how many times has he done that in his career? You know what I mean? Like, it was just an awkward spot, I feel like, for him to be in. I understand why they went to him, because everything was running through him for a majority of the second half, and it worked. But I don't fault him too much for maybe not producing in those moments, because it's just like a first time thing for him. But boy, his confidence is high. He's playing a lot better. He was switched off onto like Jeremiah Fears and other guards so often, and really held his own. He did a good job. He played a really solid game. happy for him. And that's that arc is heading in the right direction. So you like to see it. But again, some positive things individually, some positive things on both ends of the floor, but not enough to get them over the hump in what was a must-win game. So frustrating deal. Really puts them in a tough spot. They got a week to kind of heal up and then go over to Rupp and play Kentucky and see what happens. But they are now in the point of their season where they've done so much damage to themselves that it's games like this that if you want to pretend to be in the conversation, now you got to go win these games. You can't win the games you're supposed to, clearly. So now you got to go win a bunch of games that you're not supposed to. And have they given us any reason to think they're going to do that? No, not necessarily, but we're going to keep watching and hoping that happens. We're going to keep breaking it down and covering it. We'll see. Like, we're going to start talking some big picture stuff, probably do another portal look ahead at some point this week before we head to Lexington and dive into it. But thank y'all for tuning in, tapping in. I know people were frustrated and discouraged by the loss. And I get it. I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I'm just trying to talk you in to continue to listen to me talking about it. So it's been Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas, the Pod, the Palace. Y'all have a good night, good day. See you in the morning. Appreciate it.